Bharaji, many people, all of us speak about Saraswati Sindhu civilization and about how the sanitation itself was so advanced for the time. It was way ahead of its time, right? So the sewerage, and even they had a flush system. Could you tell us about this?
Yes. So I told you about the open defecation practiced in the villages, right? But unlike the rural dwellers, in the cities, latrines and sewerage were well known. So the people of the Saraswati Sindhu civilization, they were urban people, and they were the earliest to use latrines, soak pits, cesspools, pipes and channels, for wastewater disposal. So at that time, both centralized and decentralized systems of sanitation were there. So you find them in different archaeological sites, and they go back to like 8,000 years. So you can imagine how advanced they were. And some toilets just had holes in the ground, while others even had seats to sit on. And in the centralized disposal model, which we found in Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, Chanhu-daro, Lothal, and other places in Greater India, they used terracotta pipes to carry the bath water and effluents, and they had pour flush toilets, not the automatic ones, of course. So they would pour, after they did the job, they would pour water and flush that, and those were carried by terracotta pipes into the street drains, and they were collected in pits which were lined with clay bricks, and then the solids were allowed to settle down, and then the supernatant liquid would go into a bigger drain, and then the pits were emptied manually, and the biosolids, they were sent for disposal, maybe for agriculture or anything. And the pits were located at the intersection of several drains so that clogging can be prevented. It was very scientific. So that was centralized. Then we had the decentralized model, which we found in Kalibangan, Banavali, other places. So where it would go from the households, the wastewater, and it would go into U-shaped channels and be collected in perforated jars, which were placed on the main streets. And from there, the jars used to be emptied periodically. So they had both the centralized and the decentralized model. And it's not just, I want to highlight, it's not just the Sindhu Saraswati civilization that had a modern sewerage, because we have found evidence of modern sewerage in Takshashila, Delhi, Ujjain, Arikamedu in southern India, in Tamil Nadu, where they even had industrial wastewater disposal. They had that. Arikamedu was a well-known center for textiles, and they had contacts with the Roman civilization, and they had also a good sewerage system. But let's remember that the majority of the people in India, they were rural, and they lived far away from the cities. So they used the practice of open defecation. Open doesn't mean open, it would be covered. Once they did the job, they would be covered. And the feces would be covered and it will be returned to nature. But after the Muslim occupation of India in the 11th century, then it became common to have harems in the forts, and the women were not allowed to go out anymore for answering the call of nature. That's when the toilets started getting built within the forts. And then it has been speculated that the practice of manual scavenging, picking up the excreta from the toilet, throwing it, all that probably got intensified during that period. So, and typically they used captured slaves to do this job. And that caused a lot of problems.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.